Thank you so much. ഞാനവിടെ പറയാൻ വിട്ടുപോയി. ഞാൻ എന്റെ ക്ലാസ്സിനിടെ ഇടയ്ക്കായിരുന്നു എടുത്ത് നോക്കിയത്. അപ്പൊ ഫുൾ തിരക്കായിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ അങ്ങനെ ആരോടൊന്നും പറഞ്ഞില്ല. ഈവൻ എന്റെ ട്രെയിനിനോട് പോലും ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് വിട്ടുപോയി. എന്നിട്ട് ഇല്ല, ഈവൻ എന്റെ ട്രെയിനിനോട് പോലും ഞാൻ. So guys, visible? Done. So now let's play this video. Okay, 1 minute. Can you see my YouTube? Can you see my 1 minute? I hope that's visible. You can see that YouTube video. Do you? Okay, done. So now see. Just that. See, two kids. Okay, both of them of the almost similar age group. Okay, you guys saw the video, right? Saw the video, no? And nothing. Why? Then I'll send you through WhatsApp that link. Okay? Done. 1 minute. I'll just send you that link. Why is it not playing, man? I saw this video 8 minutes. See, I'm putting that link here in the chat box. Maybe you can just play in one of your mobiles and everybody can just watch. Okay, in just one mobile or two mobiles maybe. You can access from the chat box. Can you? Can you access from the chat? Ah, okay. Just see that kid. What happened? All okay? Okay, all okay? Is everything okay? What happened? What happened here? All okay? Don't watch the whole thing. Just 2 seconds is enough. 2 seconds. Okay, okay. Okay. Did you see the two kids? The way two of them behave in don't watch the whole video. No need. Just the contrast between those two kids. That's all. Okay. See the first one, very overconfident, and the way he was talking, very rude. Right? Did you find him rude? Did you think he is very rude? He is, right? But see, he's a small baby. He doesn't know what is right or what is wrong, or he doesn't even understand that he is rude. So that is actually, why do you think that the child is behaving like that? It is because of the culture, the background that is in his home. So what he has been going through in his home, he thinks that's absolutely normal to behave like that. So that similarly, in a company, culture is something that is inherited over the years. People don't know whether it's right or wrong. That's how they behave. Sometimes when we do these kind of training programs and all, they understand, okay, there is something wrong here, and then they might change. But changing a culture takes ages. Do you think we can change this child, this particular baby, this angry baby? Do you think we can change him easily? No, right? It will take because that's how his parents are. And by the time he realizes that, okay, the way he behaves is not normal, it will be too late. Similarly, in a company, you cannot change its culture really fast. So now let's go back to our material. So, um, just let me know if whenever, just like what you guys told me today, if you want me to slow down somewhere, just tell me, okay? Please tell me and I'll just slow it down. I'll repeat something, okay? Repeat again. If you have any doubt, please tell me, okay? So here, see, culture. What is culture? A culture is shared among its members. Second, culture is formed over ages, over years. Third, culture is actually stable. So, a culture, an organization's culture reflects how the people in that particular organization operates. If the culture is really good, then people will be very motivated, they will be hardworking, and there won't be any internal politics or anything like that. But if the culture is very toxic, then imagine sometimes in our class we do have certain friends, right? Certain students in our class who might be class toppers, and then in case if you get one or two grade or one or two more marks more than them, they will take your answer sheet and then they will evaluate everything, and they will be like, oh, why did ma'am give you additional points here, and then why they reduced my marks here? They will ask you like that, right? Do you face such situations in class? Not audible. What happened? Not audible. What happened, guys?
Your audible, ma'am.
Audible. Done. Okay, so did you hear what I said now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So here there are, the organization is actually responsible for creating that kind of a culture in our company. Okay, it is not just Anusha or Santosh or just Sounder or any one employee who is responsible. The entire organization is responsible for maintaining that kind of a culture in our company. So we are all responsible. We all have to take that kind of a responsibility. And see, the organization must take the responsibility for the actions of its members. In case if one among us, for example, if one among your classmates does something unethical, then who is responsible? It is not just that person. The entire organization will be responsible for the same. So we have to think about three key elements, okay, when it comes to ethical corporate culture. How can you develop a culture and how can you maintain such a culture in your company? First, just like our homes, who sets the tone in our company? It's our parent, right? Similarly, in a company, it is the board of directors or the senior executive and the managers. That is, the leadership team sets the tone in a company. So that means they have to be very ethical. The top management has to be really ethical. They have to behave ethically. Only then everybody else in your company will be behaving very similarly. So they have to show us this is how we are supposed to behave in a company. Second, a set of core ethical values that have been ingrained throughout the organization. That means there should be clear policies, processes, and practices that's established in our company. They should tell us about the do's and the don'ts. So there should be a set of core ethical values. And thirdly, there should be a formal ethical program. That means we should be trained. Once we join a particular company, they should hire us, they should train us. And in a small company, if it is a privately held small company, then ethics program might be even informal. So there are three elements that I have mentioned. First one is ethical leadership as reflected, means there should be a proper ethical leadership and they should reflect the company's ethics, especially the board of directors, the senior executive and other managers. Second, a set of core ethical values, like there should be honesty, integrity, there should be a set of core ethical values, and we can actually implement those values through policies, procedures and different practices within our company. Third, we should have a formal ethics program, means there should be a code of ethics, there should be rules, regulations, etc. Then IMA actually say, because now we are living in a era of globalization, there are different companies. For example, many of them can actually do foreign direct investment in India now. So many foreign companies are coming to India and Indian companies are going out of India as well. So because of this globalization, at times, see, in India, like we said the other day, when we see someone for the first time, we might say namaste or we might even shake a hand. But when we go to some other foreign countries like Europe, they will come and just hug you in a very formal way and then say, hi, how are you? So because of these globalization, there might be certain behavioral conflicts as well. Because being an Indian, for us, if some random guy comes and just hugs you, you might not accept it. So there might be conflicts, behavioral conflicts. What is normal for a particular person, for a particular company, might not, for a particular country, might not be normal for us. So an organization like Hindustan Unilever, when they are operating in different companies, they should actually be very careful. They should ensure that the culture of these companies, okay, our mother company, for example, I'm an Indian company, so my culture might not be matching with that particular company. When we expand into Europe, our culture might not match with their culture, but we have to find a way to somehow avoid these clashes. Now, and in certain countries, for example, in India, after having food in a restaurant, we might give them some tip. Have you noticed it? We might give them 10 rupee, 20 rupee, 50 rupee to the waiter. Have you noticed that? Guys, you might give tips to the waiters, right? After having food. And here in India, it's not mandatory. At times we might give a tip and sometimes we might not even give a tip, and that's okay here. But in certain countries, it's a mandatory thing. For example, in America or in certain restaurants when you go, so they feel like it's mandatory. You have to give them a tip for sure. Otherwise, the waiters get offended. So here, and for example, have you guys applied for passport? Passport? Did you guys apply for passport? No. Okay. Okay. Then, okay. So, see, if a police, okay, if you apply, once you apply for your passport, and then if a police officer comes to your home for, oh my God, Sneha, what happens, Sneha? And a police officer actually comes to your home, okay, for verification. In certain places, there is a practice that you might give the police officer 100 rupee or 50 rupee, or not 50, actually it's actually 500 or 1000 or bare minimum 200 300 rupees. You might give some money to that particular police officer for verification. Have you noticed it? Do you give money to police officers? Police officers? Do you give money? We do have that habit, right? But if you do the same thing in America, do you think that is okay? Can you give the police officer money in America? No. If you do that, what will happen? FCPA. Yesterday we learned about Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, right? So in America, that is not at all okay to give bribes to police officers. So UK Bribery Act, every organization actually needs to explain about our principles of behavior. We have to clearly outline, okay, these are acceptable in our company, these are not acceptable in our company, okay? And then if we have those kind of clear guidelines, in future, what happened? You guys okay? Fine? Yeah, okay. So in future, when we have to take a particular decision, if we have similar policies and procedures in place, then the decision making process is going to be really easy and there won't be any violations as well. So those kind of guidelines, I mean policies and procedures, are really important for managing a particular company very ethically. And if a particular employee is actually going to perceive our ethics as real, first and foremost, we have to see those ethics applied throughout the entire organization. For example, our father always says, like, you shouldn't lie, you should be punctual. If your father always says, okay, you should always be punctual, but whenever it's time to go out, your father is always late, then will you trust him? Will you follow what he is saying? We won't, because he is saying something, but he is doing something else. So instead, what we have to do, if we are saying, okay, these are our ethics, these are our values, then we should apply those ethics and those values to our entire organization. There shouldn't be any exceptions to anyone. If we say we will not tolerate bribes, we will not tolerate if someone lies, we will not tolerate dishonesty, then irrespective of the position, even if that is the CEO, even if that is the sweeper, or even if that is a middle manager, it should be applied equally to everybody, okay, irrespective of their position. Is it clear? Did you guys understand? Nisarga and I think, you're fine? Okay, done. Next, professional code of ethics. One sec. Professional code of ethics. So, referring to IMA's statement of ethical professional practice, IMA actually stated that members of the organization, means you guys, okay, once you become a member of IMA, you should follow the statement, IMA's statement, you have to follow the standards and the principles, and you have to follow those principles in your job as well as your life, as well as your personal life, okay? You shouldn't do part-time ganja sales, you shouldn't. You remember that particular question where that guy was doing narcotic sale? That particular question, you remember? And we said, this is actually ruining integrity, you remember? So, we shouldn't. So, this is not part-time, these kind of job, no, that is not accepted. So, we should actually follow these principles in our jobs as well as in our personal life. Even if that means you will have to spend financially, that's okay. You shouldn't do otherwise. Then, this IMA is actually member of American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, AICPA. IMA is member of AICPA. And what I said, this particular statement, that you have to follow these principles and standards in your personal life and in your job, that was actually mentioned by AICPA. And IMA, being a member of AICPA, states the same. So you have to follow this as well. Means you have to follow the principles set by IMA and follow these things even in your personal life, personal as well as professional life. And when a particular individual belongs to more than one profession, for example, do you guys wish to do anything after this, after getting your CMA qualification? You are going to be CMA Santosh, CMA Anusha, CMA Nisarga. You guys are going to be CMAs, right? Oh, CMA Rakshita. Then did I miss anyone? CMA Navneeta. Then there is Sneha. Then So you guys are all. Did I miss anyone? Arulmozhi, CMA Arulmozhi, CMA Arulmozhi. So all are going to be CMAs. So after this, will you guys do anything else? Do you guys like to study anything else? CPA, CFA? Nothing. Somehow, madam, I just want to pass this course, madam. After that, no, madam. I'm just going for work, madam. Is it? No, don't stop studying. You should continue learning, okay? Continue. Otherwise, who will take over? AI will take over. So you should learn whatever you are passionate about. Learn something. So, example, after this, you missed Durai. Oh, CMA Durai. See, no, that is CFO Durai. CFO Durai. CEO Durai. So he is going to be CMA, MBA, then maybe CPA. It's going to be a long list for Durai actually. So yes, thank you for pointing out, Nisarga. I missed Durai. Yes. Charulata as well. CMA Charulata. I forgot Charulata. Yes. So then, once you are part of after completing CMA, for example, if you go for CPA, then that means you are going to be under two institutes, right? You will be part of their body, I mean AICPA, and you will be also part of IMA. In that case, you will have to follow both the code of ethics, not just IMAs, but also AICPAs. So after that, if you do CA, Indian CA, you are a chartered accountant, then you have to follow ICAI as well. Whatever your body says, okay? Then many organizations, including IMA, actually have ethics helpline. In case if somebody lies, if you have some problem, you have some doubt, you can call them. So here, please keep in mind, they will have a brief discussion with you. They will talk to you. Okay, they will have a brief discussion of what the problem is, etc., etc. And they will just take it down and then they will call you back, because the initial call is just to know what is your problem. And then a particular person who handles this ethics department will call you back and they will explain, okay? And see, after your issue is being reported, a member of IMA's Committee on Ethics will actually telephone you. They will call you and they will help you understand the situation better. They will explain what exactly is the problem and what are the provisions in our statement that you can seek help from, that you can use. And don't worry, no matter what you are going to call them and talk about, or no matter what you are going to report, they will not tell anybody. They are going to be just like your best friend. I think these three are best friends. I think Anusha, Sneha, and Arulmozhi. Are you guys best friends? And I think it depends on the bench basically. First three best friends, the next bench, three of them are best friends, and the last three are best friends. I felt so because you always sit together. I have never seen you guys mixing up. I think so. I felt so. So basically, so will your best friend betray you? They will not tell anybody, right? They will keep it confidentially. Similarly, IMA will not tell anyone. They will keep all this information really confidential. And IMA, see, there's a point here. IMA will not give you any specific recommendation. You remember yesterday when we were actually talking about ethical violation in our company, I told you the same thing. If there is a violation, IMA will just guide you. They will just tell you what to do. Means they will just tell you what is mentioned in the standards and the principles. But they will not give you any specific recommendation. Okay, Anusha, you resign the job. They will not say that. They will just say, as per your standard, as per IMA's standards, you should, it's mentioned this. You shouldn't do anything that discredits your profession. You should communicate fairly and objectively. They will just discuss what is mentioned in your code of ethics. They will not give you any suggestions or recommendations. They will just explain whatever is mentioned in the code of ethics. Okay. Other than that, they will not give any specific recommendation with regards to your problem. Is it clear? Guys, understood? Okay. Boys, middle bench, okay. Nisarga, you okay? Okay. Now, IMA's helpline cannot be used as a hotline to report specific suspected ethical violations. Cannot be used as a hotline to report. If something goes wrong in your particular company, then okay, your friend has done something wrong. Okay, you cannot call IMA's helpline and just report. No, that is not possible. You can use it to get recommendations and suggestions. Next, we have 10 more, we have 7 more minutes, and then you can go home. Now, what is the importance of having a ethics based organizational culture? You guys understood what's culture, right? Culture, clear, right? Culture, done. Okay. Now, what is ethics based organizational culture? Organizational, see, it's really difficult to create such a culture. Good, see, when I was working for my particular company, we were actually always working like robots, to be really frank. We had no time at all. I don't even remember sitting there idle for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and then chit chatting. Hey, how are you? This is what I'm doing. No, we didn't have that kind of a time. I'll give you one brief example where one of my close friend, actually, she works for the IT department. So she recently came to India, and then she told me recently one of her colleague, one of her subordinate shouted at her because in every 5-10 minutes this girl actually used to ask her doubts, and my friend basically got irritated because we cannot always advise someone, right? Sometimes they have to think on their own and then take decisions as well. So my friend was really getting irritated, and once this lady shouted at her, if somebody shouts at you, will you tolerate? Will you tolerate? No. Where is this? Yeah. This. So you won't tolerate. You will definitely shout back. You'll be like, why are you talking to me like that? Do you know what my friend did? She kept quiet. She said, I had too much work to do. I was too much involved in my own work that, I just wanted to somehow finish it and go home. I didn't even pay attention to what she was saying. And she told me on her way back home, while she was sitting in the cab, that's when she rewinded. I mean, everything came back to her mind. She was like, oh my gosh, she said this to me. How dare she said that? See, the thing is, this lady had no time. That used to be the problem with our company. We had no time to even breathe. For example, I have in Kerala we have a Onam. You might have heard about Onam. In Kerala, it's a big festival, just like Pongal, Diwali for you guys. For us, it's Onam. So even during Onam, we were actually working. We had no. I didn't even take a leave, so we were working. So there was no internal politics in our company. So that was our culture. We didn't have time to look into others or to see what they were doing. We were always focused on our own work. So it's not easy to develop that kind of a culture. And there was no importance to anybody, no matter where they were coming from. Your passport might be British, you might be Indian, because in UAE and all, once you leave India, especially in these GCC countries and all, our passport actually, the salary they offer you also depends on your passport. If you are from UK or if you are from UK or British countries or European countries, or even if you are from US, you get paid more. If you are from India, irrespective of your qualification, sometimes you get paid really less. That happens actually in GCC. So, but in our company, if you were really talented, if you were skilled, and if you were really willing to work hard, then you could actually grow there. So that was the culture they maintained in our company, which was very good. But there were other toxic sides as well. Of course, there were toxic habits. So creating that kind of a culture is very important. If your organization has to succeed, you have to create that kind of a culture. So if you have that kind of a culture which is based on values, okay, then it can lead to first productivity. Your employees will be motivated. They will know they are going to get promoted not on the basis of anything else. They are going to get promoted on the basis of their performance, on the basis of their appraisal, on the basis of their ethics, only on these bases, and nothing else is going to come in between. So people will feel productive. People will feel so much motivated, and we will work better. And whenever organization has such a great culture, the teamwork will be better. Everybody will collaborate each other and they will work better. Third, if we have a really good value-based ethics system, ethics in our company, people will have that kind of an ownership. They will feel like, oh, it's my company, I have to perform better. And then they will take that ownership and they will perform. Fourth point, the quality of services that they offer will be amazing, because our business processes, whatever we are doing in our company, is going to be really good. And lastly, if our culture is based on values, then our financial performance will be far better. Means we will make lot of money, means we will make better profits. So we have to always focus on creating a value based ethic culture. So if our culture is based on values, then our employees will be productive, everybody will work better teamwork, less fraud, because everybody will feel like this is my own company, I shouldn't violate the rules here. So less fraud, better business process, and the quality of services they offer will be amazing. Lastly, our company will be performing better. The financial performance of our company is going to be great as well. So these are the points. One second. Is it time for you guys to leave? Oh, one sec. I can't see. 1 minute. 1 minute. Huh? No? You want to leave? You want to go home? Okay. Nisarga, you don't want to go home? You willing to stay? Okay. Done. Go. Okay, you want to go? Okay, done. So guys, is she your friend? The pink churla? Friend? Huh? Oh, okay. Okay. So guys, see you tomorrow then. Tomorrow sharp 2:45. Huh? Don't be late, okay? So see you tomorrow. Please read the study material. And I think, did you guys get that PDF? Got, right? Okay. So if you have any doubt, please do ask. Sounder Santosh, okay? Okay. Middle bench, fine, right? Oh, okay. So bye. See you tomorrow. Bye. Tomorrow I'll put a lot of makeup and come, because Anusha sent me a photograph and I look ugly in that. So from tomorrow, old putty. That's it. Okay. Bye. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.